conductor for the choir at Cathedral of the Madeleine. Gregory, come on down. Make the prices right.
The island nation of Haiti was struck by a devastating 7.0 magnitude earthquake in January of this year, resulting in the loss of more than 200,000 lives. New York Times columnist David Brooks described the recovery effort following the devastating quake as facing greater challenges than simply raising enough money to rebuild the city. Brooks argued that what is needed in the nation is a radical cultural change, still considered one of the most impoverished nations of the world, despite generous financial assistance from other nations for several decades. Cultural transformation is an inchoate endeavor that is both nebulous and unpredictable, and it exists everywhere. In the United States and Europe, for example, we have talented athletes who are enthroned as Ubermenschen. While still a topic of disagreement, the economic impact of the recent move of LeBron James has been calculated from anywhere between $200 million and $2 billion. These kinesthetic wunderkinds have taken on the allure once held by relics in the medieval period, where the possession of the remains of the three wise men, or even Mary Magdalene, would have guaranteed your city a stable flow of tourists and visitors. Musical life is now dominated by superstars who are experts at delivering 3.5-minute zings of instantaneous auditory pleasure, often accompanied by chaotic panoplies of video imagery that remain stagnant for no longer than 2 seconds. The music often betrays the wilted self-concepts of male singers who require very large trucks, very large biceps, or sulky and sexually suggestive ramblings to justify their descent into the arts. Even the incredibly important realm of political life and civic dialogue has been subsumed under the entertainment umbrella, with talk show hosts and personalities advancing populist view that incite simplistic, angry reactions to complex issues and even include the unabashed reconstruction of history. Once vibrant centers of our community life have fallen on ill times as growing isolationism and rugged individualism have shaped the structure of our cities. The world is hell, as evinced by these photos, outside of the automatically closed garage door of one's private home. And our homes provide growing evidence of a lack of social and civic responsibility. Building mega homes with the full knowledge of billions of our fellow inhabitants on the planet going without meals, clean water, let alone a roof over their heads, seems at the very least mildly insensitive and unaware. The state of learning, this is the Learning Channel, boasting learning opportunities such as Cake Boss, American Chopper, John and Kate Plus 8. A higher education institution in Oregon recently advertised the availability of degrees in a breeze, again stigmatizing intellectual work as superfluous. These are all mere cultural snapshots, and of course the risk of overgeneralization is incredibly high. From philosopher Ernst Becker, we have the grim picture of our planet as a theater for crawling life, where the human organism has a mouth, a digestive tract, and an anus, and skin to keep it intact, and appendages with which to acquire food. Describing human life as a gory spectacle, an epic food orgy with the mutual devouring of organisms, such that at the end of one's life, horrified by the living energy ingested, one is presented with hundreds of chickens, flocks of lambs and sheep, a small herd of steers, sties full of pigs, and rivers of fish. The human raises its head over the field of corpses and smiles into the sun and declares life good. Who are the culprits of advancing such a culture? Well, today, quite unfairly, I might single out poor Jeremy Bentham as one possibility. Bentham's utilitarianism argues that the basis for all morality and law should be the principle of utility, and by utility he understands whatever promotes pleasure and prevents pain for the majority, going on to claim that community is a fictitious body that is actually only a composition of individuals. In ultimate utility, you see poor Bentham here attending the board meetings of the University College in London as is required by his will. Unfortunately, his head snapped off a few years ago and is now found at the base of his body. A new conception of human existence begins to emerge with the claims expressed in the modern notion of work and worker. The worker characterized by 3 principal traits: an extreme tension of the powers of action, a readiness to suffer in vacuo, unrelated to anything, and complete absorption in the social organism itself, rationally planned to utilitarian ends. Work as activity, as toil, and as social function has become the modern standard for human activity, juxtaposing the liberal arts and the servile arts, and raising up the exact scientist as far superior to the philosopher. The freedom once attached to the liberal arts is now rendered obsolete. The German philosopher Joseph Pieper registered concern about this unfortunate cultural shift in his work Leisure, the Basis of Culture. Alluding to the origin of the word for leisure in the Greek skole, in the Latin schola, and in English school, school does not properly mean a place of education, but rather leisure. For Pieper, leisure is not a Sunday afternoon idle, but the preserve of freedom, of education and culture, and of that undiminished humanity which views the world as a whole. It is not the inevitable result of spare time, a holiday, a weekend, or vacation. It is, in the first place, an attitude of mind and a condition of the soul. Pieper is not presenting a mere bourgeois reaction to the fascist terror of the 20th century, but rather calling all humanity to contemplation, to intellectual work, and a view of the world as a whole in addressing the many challenges we face together in this age. Cultural transformation for Pieper begins with leisure. As humans, we face immense difficulties. We are endangering our planet by our consumption. We are organizing our societies around sound bites and showmanship. And we are demonstrating and modeling incredible irresponsible toward others to our young people. Immigration, healthcare, reform of financial institutions, reducing consumption, rethinking how we supply the planet's population with food. These are all intensive concerns that must be addressed. Championing leisure, the arts, contemplation, intellectual work, and education will be one avenue of positive change for our culture. Thanks.